Hello, I'm Roy Whiffen, and this is Roy's Rant again. I referenced last week about the roundabout that the city is intending to install on Soldier Field and First Colony Boulevard, right behind the police station. And the fact that they say that the development cost is $100,000 and that the roundabout itself is going to cost over $1 million, and then they've got the Soldier Field road that they're going to take through that's going to cost another $1 million or so. And you know, it just struck me that it's the figures are totally out of context with what you're supposed to be doing or can do. And I found a roundabout down in Richmond, and I made a video of it and I put it on Fort Bend Concerns and Sugarland Concerns. And this is a big roundabout. It's about 70 feet diameter with a fountain in the middle of it. And I found out that the total cost of that thing is about $100,000. So they can build one for $100,000, but the city can only do its due diligence for $100,000. The other thing that you find out is that the road, Soldier Field, is going to go to where the new animal shelter is. And I've told you before that the lady looking after the animal shelter is a very good friend of the city manager. Now, I love animals, I really do. I've had animals most of my life, but you know, there are certain things that come up that, you know, it doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. This city, you know, I've told you many times, is a spend council at the moment, and this city just seems to be spending on things like an animal shelter, where we're told that these animals are being neutered and spayed. Why are we needing bigger and better animal shelters? Surely the ones that we've got should be quite adequate for the job that we're doing. You know, and when, in God's good name, do we put animals above ourselves as far as what is happening to us? And I know people are going to say, well, my animal's more important than somebody else's being. That's not for me. The people of Sugarland have been used and abused for so long. It's unreal. You know, I said earlier on this week on Facebook that lawyers had been telling me about the Good Old Boys network for the EDC and how that filters down and goes into the city of Sugarland. And there's some things coming up that I'll be telling you about there again very shortly. Okay, then we come down to Raffle-a-Wreck. (1996) Corvette convertible. On a good day, is worth about $3,000. Now, this car is being raffled off by Sugarland Rotary. The car itself, and once again you can check out on Facebook, I put up all the things that that particular model has problems with. Deals on the crankshaft and all sorts of other things. 23-year-old vehicle that you can spend $100 on a raffle and then $1,500 insuring it or more. And why? do we have this as part and parcel of their gala? And people said to me, well, Roy, you're being mean and you're being condescending to them. Really. Rotary is an organisation, service above self. Rotary is for the good of the people. Rotary is not so that the club can spend $150,000 plus on entertaining itself. That's the problem I have with Sugarland Rotary. We have a past district governor there that's been there for many, many years that knows better, Jeff Tallis. He's just watched it and let things go past. Hasn't said a word, although he very well knows the rules and regulations because he's quoted them several times. So anyway, that is that as far as that's concerned, and it just seems that when you hear these sort of things that Mr. Tallis is becoming more and more like his father, Jim Tallis, and there are people around that were around here in the 70s and 80s that can tell you about Jim Tallis. Or you can look it up on Wikipedia. It's a decent read to tell you about the history of what goes on and went on in this area. And so you've got these people coming up for a gala at the end of September where you don't know where the money's going. I mean, there are good people in this club that have done thousands of hours of good deeds. And there are a few people that have used it and abused it. And that taints everybody, which is a shame, but it does. If you're a member of Sugarland Rotary, you've been tainted by Jeff Tallis and presidents that have allowed this to go on, that have allowed your charity dollars to be used for their entertainment. 3-course meal, wine, dine, and all the rest of it. And that's just wrong, And I try, people say to me about different things. I have tried, since I started with the red light cameras, I've tried to tell the truth. I listen to what people tell me. I try to make sure that the facts are true, and then I report them. Now, they might not be what you like to hear when it comes down to a charity organisation. But if that charity organisation is not going under the rules and regulations of its governing body, then it needs to be called to task and it needs to be addressed. As I say, we've got people there that have done good deeds and still doing good deeds. But we've got a few there that have used it and abused it over the years, or turned a blind eye to it, which is probably worse. If you have that authority and you turn a blind eye, you're even worse than the people that are doing it. And once again, that's wrong. Next week, we have a lot of good stuff coming up, so make sure you listen to it. And if you're around Richmond next Saturday between 7 and 9, come down to the Unwind Wine Bar and enjoy us. I'm going to be playing and singing down there. It's right by the sign of Sandy McGee's, if you know where Richmond is. And see you then. And with that, I will say goodbye, and with God's blessing, talk to you next week.